Yeah, welcome everybody.
Perfect start.
Yeah. Yes, we are talking about social media, how it changed the industry, and I'm super happy to have four wonderful guests today. Guys, maybe you can introduce yourself. Some people might know you, but yeah, ISEK, maybe you can start.
Shall I start? Okay. First of all, hi everyone. My name is ISEK from Cologne, Germany. I think I'm a music DJ since 6 years now, so I'm pretty new in the business. And I started social media at the same time with my DJ career. Since 3 years, I'm a producer as well. I'm pretty new in this business, but I think I can tell a little bit about social media because I think maybe I have a little bit of reach on some platforms.
And you work out a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Everything started with it, basically. But yeah, I think I can tell a little bit more about that later.
Cool. I'm Toby, this is Greg, and together we are YouNotUs, a DJ and producer duo, and we live in Berlin, and we do music together since 10 years now.
10 years, yeah. 10-year anniversary this year.
Yeah. Happy anniversary.
Love you, bro.
Yeah, and I'm Pascale Voltaire. I'm a producer and DJ since like 14 years already. I'm also a promoter, booking agent, so I'm all-rounder in the music industry. And yes, I'm kind of a love and hate relationship with social media, so I'm quite happy to talk about that today with you guys.
Yeah, as you said, it's all about social media, and I want to start with a difficult question because I think you maybe don't know, but how many hours a day or a week are you spending on social media?
I don't know
too
if
much.
I want to know.
Way too much, way too much.
Yes,
Trust me.
But it's like 4 hours a day, 5 or even more?
Maybe, shall I start?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I think most of you guys know social media takes a lot of time, especially if you try to do it like a professional way. For me, it's like, I think, 4, maybe 5 to 6 hours a day, besides producing, DJing, marketing, and everything else. So I would say it's something like a full-time job, especially because it doesn't stop at the weekends. It means if there's 6 o'clock Friday, you don't have to take a break right now. You have to do it a little bit more than in the week, because on the weekend everybody's on the phone and everybody's looking at you, and that's the place where you have to be when you try to build up a social media career, especially for music, because there are so many things on social media like fitness or maybe fashion, beauty, and everything is pretty easy to use and to get reach with it. But music is very difficult. And I think every one of us knows this problem because you don't know what to show, you don't know what to tell the people because maybe you think it's not interesting at the moment, but you have to figure out your way. You have to figure out, okay, what is my USP to show? What is the point where I have to say, okay, this I have to show, and it takes a lot of time every day. So yeah.
But you started with social media, but you guys are producers, you love music, you love to be in the studio. So yeah, how much work is the whole social media stuff for you? Because
So for us, I feel like we have 3 to 4 jobs already, and we have songwriting sessions. We write the songs, we produce the songs. We are public figures, so we have to do promo. We run several businesses, and the day only has 24 hours, and we try to use as many as possible of them. And yeah, social media has to fit in there somehow, because we started out, as you said, just by making music, and social media came to it. So yeah,
It became more and more important.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was a long time where we sat in the studio and it was like 7 o'clock in the evening. We're like, damn, we didn't do a post today. And we were sitting like producing a beat or something. We're like, okay, what should we post now? So we struggled a lot with it. And it's not so easy because, of course, you can like hire a content creator or whatever, but it also has to fit. I don't think you can give it all away because it also has to show your personality. And we are very happy because we found a guy now. He's like 19 years old. He's like super into TikTok, Instagram Reels and everything. And yeah, he's super curious also because he is new in the music scene and he has a new view on everything. And he's like, this is super interesting. Can I do like a video of it? And so this feels quite good now. But it's always such a struggle, like Greg said, if you have so many jobs, and I mean, doing music takes so much time, and if you do everything by yourself, then there's not much time left.
Yeah, Pascal, do you agree with the guys?
I completely agree with that. So I reached the point that I'm sometimes not even sure anymore, like, okay, what's the main focus for me as an artist? Like, should I be more focused on social media or like actually on the like artistic part, like producing music, DJ shows and stuff? And so sometimes I'm really struggling, especially when you follow your role models on Instagram, TikTok and stuff. You see all the high quality content they post like nearly every hour on different channels, and you think like, okay, I spend, I don't know, but sometimes 3 hours to try to cut the reel, and I get 1,000 views, and I was like, okay, fuck it. So, yeah, so it's kind of difficult, and as the guys, YouNotUs guys mentioned already, so sometimes, yeah, I feel the pressure to post something, so, and you try to fit into the Instagram or TikTok algorithm, but at some point you notice like, okay, the algorithm I know isn't...
it's not working anymore.
Exactly, yeah. So it changed already again, so constantly you have to try to check all the algorithms, what's the new trending content now, and also some people told me like, yeah, where you don't talk, like take the front camera, talk to your audience and stuff.
That's a German thing. In other countries, nobody do. It's a German thing to always
Is
speak.
it?
I think so, because
yeah? Okay,
I don't see a lot
fair.
of DJs from US or UK speaking in front of the camera every day.
Okay, yeah, so I don't know, yeah, I actually don't, I only know that, yeah, from German artists and stuff, and some people told me like, yeah, just do it, I think that would work well, but I'm not the kind of the person to do that, so it's like, I don't feel comfortable. I tried with a couple of videos, but I really don't feel comfortable with that, so I'm even nervous to speak in front of you guys right now, so, yeah, so it's kind of difficult, to be fair.
But as you said, you spend a lot of time on this platform because, yeah, you have to because of your community to build up a fan base and stuff like this. But are you compare each other with other DJs, other producers, and when you then on profiles of artists like, I don't know, Timmy Trumpet or however you name all the successful artists, are you compare yourself then with them? What are they doing? Maybe I should do this as well.
Unfortunately, I have to say, unfortunately, I do that. So it's like, okay, maybe not with the like big names of the industry. I try to check like artists like which are like in my range, let's say, and I try to compare myself with them or try to check what they're doing, if there's something I can do as well. But at the same time, like you see, like sometimes they post, okay, they play 20 shows in a month, and you think like, okay, why I only have 10? What is still good, but you see, okay, someone is better. I mean, doesn't mean it's better, but it's a dangerous game to compare yourself, even though I know it's stupid to do that. And I know it's that everyone actually just share all the positive sides of life on social media, but I still do that.
How about you guys?
Can I tell someone? Okay, I think there's no way not to compare yourself with anyone else, because every one of us is hours on a day on the phone and looks at the social media platforms. I want to make a step back maybe, because every one of us knows it takes a lot of time to do social media, but it's not just the part on social media, it's not just the part on the phone. As you guys said, you have a video guy right now, and this is perfect, this is amazing, because you don't have to think about new ideas, you don't have to hold the camera, you don't have to take pictures, videos, and everything else, or to cut a reel. That is the most part of this work. I mean, you can post a reel if everything is done within 5 minutes. You can write just a little text, you can figure out, okay, what is my title, picture, whatever, and then upload it. But of course, the time before is the important thing, because you have to find the idea, you have to find your way to show whatever you're doing, and this is so important because you have to be authentic, you have to be yourself. You don't have to follow the trends just by following the trends. You have to take the trend and do it in your way, and this is, I think, the most difficult part of this game. But of course, yeah, there's always comparing with anyone else, because you want to be maybe the guy that made a step up, who's better now than you. You want to be that guy because you want to reach the higher level, and that's pretty difficult because you think, hey, I'm doing the same like you, but why your reach is so much bigger than mine? And I think that's the point where you don't have to get frustrated. It takes time, and that's the difficult part. You have to be patient with what you're doing, and basically it's, I think, one of the most important things right now, because you can make the best music, but if nobody listens to it, there's nobody listen to it. Yeah. But social media is a free game. You don't have to pay money to be good in it. You have to figure out what you are doing, and you have to pay a lot of attention. That's the difficult part.
Yeah. Comparing also like happens outside of social media, because like Spotify numbers and charts and stuff like that it's always comparing to other people. But I think in social media it's worse in a mental health way, because you always only see when people are showing their good sides, and you don't see if they have any bad moments. On Spotify and in the charts, you can see that.
But do you guys have the feeling that it's getting a bit better? Because some days ago, I've read a text about Sam Feld, and he told his community that DJ life is not only festival, party, woman, and stuff like this. So it's hard work. You're alone in the hotel room. You don't see your family that often. So because I have the feeling that at the moment, some things are changing in that game. Is it only my opinion right now, or do you see that there might be some changes?
Yeah,
as well?
I totally agree. There's definitely a change, and people are talking more about topics like this. But social media still works like it. Everybody's just sharing the positive sides, the achievements, and I mean there is a change, but it's still a long way to go. I feel like, I don't know.
I think it's really interesting, because you started as a content creator, and the bad word for that, influencer, and then you decided also to make music, to focus even more on that part of the business. And I know how hard the DJ and producer game is. Yeah. I could imagine that a lot of people are like, okay, that's an influencer, why is he making music? He shouldn't be on the radio, he shouldn't be on Spotify because he is a fucking influencer. And sorry for that, but you know...
No, it's all right.
Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, pretty much, honestly. Basically, every time when I meet new people and all the guys already know my social media platforms, it's like, oh, this is the influencer. And I was like, no, I'm not just an influencer. Of course, I'm an influencer, even if I don't like the word. I like content creator way more. But of course, this word is way more common. So I didn't start as content creator at all. I said to me 6 years ago, I want to do it because I think I can show a lot of things to people out there who don't know me, and I think I have a good mindset and maybe positive personality, so I can give them some energy or something like that. But I said to myself, I want to do it for the music, but I see with music I don't have that much experience. I don't have much to show, so I would start with fitness. And
because that was always
it was always there, and there was a big hype with fitness and fashion and things like that. And I thought 6 years ago it should be easy to change my community from fitness and fashion to music. No.
Was it?
No. So I was a real noob. I didn't know that there is so much difficult work I have to do to change my community. I started 3 years ago. Then there was, of course, COVID and everything of this. Sorry. So it was really difficult at the moment. There is a big change on my social media, and I think everybody who has seen my social media maybe has seen that. There's not much about fitness and fashion anymore. It's about my being as an artist, but it's still very difficult. So yeah, basically when I get to any point with new people, everyone's like, oh, this is the influencer. He has nothing to do with music. And that's not right. Basically, most time on the day I spend in my studio and figure out, okay, what is my way of music? Where can I have maybe the next show? I'm in talks with many people to show that I'm an artist, but that's the difficult part of the game as well. If you are one time at one point of social media, like fitness, fashion, music, or something like that, it's very difficult to change. So yeah, you have to figure out a way to change the picture of the people, and that takes time as well.
Yeah, but I think, Greg, you said that, that of course, when you spend a lot of time and also thinking about stuff like this, and then again, you are music producers, you love to make music, and then you think about so much time about social media, what gonna post, it's also not good for your mental health, right?
No,
Absolutely.
It's very distracting.
Yeah. I mean, it always feels like you cannot 100% focus on anything, because if you're doing music, you feel like, okay, so now I don't spend time on social media, I don't spend time on like developing a concept that could work, like the next reel that could trend. And if you're on social media, you think, oh, I should really work on the next radio song, I should work on the next club single, whatever. So it always feels like the time you spend on something is the time you don't spend on the other thing. Yeah.
And I think as a producer, I think you will all agree, when you're in the studio, you can't post a social reel or a story, because you really have to be into the music then, right?
Right.
Yes and no. You still feel, I mean, at least in my case, I still feel the pressure. So I always try to put my phone in the airplane mode when I'm in the studio. But at the same time, you see on Instagram, like, or TikTok, okay, how to grow as a producer and how to grow your numbers on Spotify, so that people recommend to record every step of the producing part. So of course, obviously, in between, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm in a producing process, but or should I record that now? How I, like, I don't know, record it or like play the new hook on my track or something, or shall I be more concentrated just on the producing part and do everything after the producing process, but then it doesn't feel right at the same time, because it's for me like a kind of a fake, because I just like pretend I'm doing that right now. So that's always I'm personally in between, and that's why I try to really to put my phone away, to not even being distracted by it, or have the thinking or get the notification something, and end up on Instagram again and scrolling stupidly like through my feed. But yeah, it's always, as the guys mentioned already, so you have the pressure constantly in your heart, in the back of your mind, and also like what I mentioned before, like with the algorithm, that you have like certain times which apparently works good to post on, and then you missed maybe the time, and then you feel kind of bad, like that, oh fuck, I missed the time. So is it worth it to post my video I created before yet, or should I wait until tomorrow? And yeah, so it's constantly with you, so in the back of your mind.
Yeah, and what you said, I totally agree. Like when we work in the studio, we do a lot of songwriting sessions also with other singers and stuff, and they share very like personal moments, and I don't want to hold my camera on it, because that totally destroys the vibe of it. But at the same time, we want to promote the next single, and then sometimes there are sessions where you say, okay, we meet in the studio again, we do like content for it, and it totally feels fake, because like you pretend to be in the studio, but it's not the real studio session. But the real studio session can be a very private thing you don't want to share, because everybody has to agree on it, and
Exactly, and it's not even. I mean, at least in my case, it's not only in the studio; it's the same on the stage. So not every time you have a content creator or like a videograph or like photograph on stage. So sometimes I play a show somewhere, think like, oh, that looks pretty cool, or would maybe work as a video or photo on Instagram, TikTok, and then I think like, okay, this track will like burn down the dance floor now. So I look around and look if there are any friends around. Or my girlfriend, shout out to her at this point because she's actually my content creator at this point. And so not even during the shows, I'm fully into the DJing. So I have still during the DJing in my back of my mind, like, okay, I need good content I can post maybe straight away after the show or at the latest tomorrow. Okay. So it actually applies to every situation as an artist. Somehow. But
basically, I think that's the problem. I mean, that's the reason why we're sitting here. Social media changed the industry, and that's the biggest problem, I think, because every one of us is saying, oh, there's so much pressure in my head because I have to do it. But we have decided to be like this. We are producers, we are DJs, we are artists. And this is, I think, the easiest way to get our things out because, as I already said, we don't have to pay anything for it. Social media is for free. And the only thing we have to pay for, if of course you can pay money for it, of course, but I mean, usually it's free for everyone. And the only thing, or the only money, or how can I say it? I say money you have to put in it is your time. But of course, there's a lot of us missing because we have so many things to do. We are sitting in studios, we are on shows, we are on travel to shows and everything like that. But that's what we have to do. This is why social media changed the industry, because it's such a big thing right now. You can show your community who you are. You can be the artist, but you can be the person as well and take them with you. You can build up a community. Especially for guys like us. We are not on the top level, of course not, but we can get there by social media. And I think this is a big change.
But do you really think so? Because, for example, you guys are absolutely successful on radio, on Spotify. I think you have a lot that other guys would love to have. So how important is social media really? Because I think you have like 40,000 followers, you have a little fan base, you're on the radio, you have amazing shows, you play big festivals, so...
I think it's important to have social media anyways, because there's no personality, especially as a DJ, coming around in the radio or over Spotify. We have a producer tag in the beginning of every song, which says like, it's all about you, not us. But that's all the personality we can put in a song.
Yeah, especially like radio is another platform, and there's not that much people coming from the radio to social media, for example, because it's not a very personal platform. It's a song, and I mean, if you're a singer and you have your voice, then it's your personality on the song. But if you don't have your voice on the song, as a producer, of course you can like have a personality through sounds and like a sound identity, but it's very hard to get to the people. Yeah. So social media is a way to reach the people and to grow a fan base, but yeah.
But sometimes it's also the question, because I know a lot of underground DJs and their goal is to play in old clubs with not that many people, and then there are artists like you or you, they say, okay, I want to be very successful with my music. I want to be like, I don't know, David Guetta, Joel Corey, like the big ones. So it's all about how the society wants us to grow or to be a star or have a goal or something like that. So for example, if you guys would say, we are absolutely happy, we don't need more fans, we don't need more radio shows or whatever.
But who says that?
Yeah.
That's the point, that's the point.
That's the point, of course, because you have goals, and that's why we can't live with social media.
I think the issue also is, I don't fully agree with what ISEK said before. So social media is definitely a super powerful tool we can use, definitely, but also like, at least with my experience I had, also with some colleagues of mine from the kind of older generation. So you have to be the type for social media. You have to be a type, an interesting type, whatever the like interesting part is. But if you're not the type of like like the extroverted person, like who feels comfortable to speak in a camera or something. So you're kind of fucked. So the thing is that I think, unfortunately, social media is these days the only thing like to grow. So it's not only like, I mean, of course you can be lucky if you're like a super talent, but even as a super talent, like in case of like producing or DJing or whatsoever, it's kind of difficult without social media. Definitely. And I think that's a dangerous game, and I think people should be careful with that. So social media is a powerful tool. I still enjoy to do social media, even though there are some parts I don't like about it. But so I think people should be aware of that. Like right now, at least in my opinion, that's more or less the only part to really blow your numbers on all platforms and get famous. So it's in my unfortunately like the real music part got a little bit in the background, and that's something I miss a little bit. That's.
But do you have the feeling? The question is to all of you, that you have to do something there because, for example, the label says, "Hey, please do this and this and that," or I don't know, a corporation partner says, "Please do it like this," or I don't know, radio partner says, "Can you please do this and that and this?" And that is maybe the problem, that you can't be really yourself because of the society, the community, the radio, the label, the management, the bookers, whatever, wants something from you that might not show how you really are.
Yeah, you can always say no to that, but yeah, it's a thing that a lot of partners, you have a certain reach, and they want to use that reach for stuff you do with them, and therefore they sometimes tell you what to do, and sometimes it makes you really uncomfortable, and sometimes you have to say no.
I would totally agree with that. I think there are really big things to do sometimes on social media, especially for the labels or partners or whatever. They want you to do this. Of course, you always have to say no if you don't feel comfortable with this, because you have to be yourself always. That's, I think, the main point to be successful with social media, especially with your music. But to go back what you have said, let's be honest, social media is way too powerful. It's way too powerful. If you are not on social media, as you said, there's no big chance at the moment to grow. And that's the baddest part of the game, because music should always be the biggest part. It should be about the music. It should be about what you're doing with the music, and not if you have a good smile and write, "Hey, there's my new track, stream it," and you get 10,000 streams within a second. That's definitely not fair. And that's, I think, the biggest chance, but also the baddest part of social media. And of course, especially labels are at the moment at the point they say, "Yeah, your track is really good and we would like to have it, but your social media is not that good, so let's wait for a year or maybe two when you have got bigger," or something like that, because they don't want to pay money for it. They don't want to invest in you if you're not already the big guy. So yeah, social media is very important, unfortunately.
But then on the other hand, I don't want to talk that bad about labels, because they are helping all of us and the whole industry.
Of course.
Then again, we see, because you've told me you have a big reach, and yet we could say now, okay, you have a big reach, so every label wants to work with you, and it's not like this. So at the end,
of course not.
We find out it's not all about social media a lot, but
yeah, of course, you're right. Absolutely. Not every label says, "Yeah, you have so many followers, we want to work with you." Of course not. So many labels are just looking at the numbers and say, "Okay, what's your reach on Spotify with social media and things like that?" So, and sometimes they say, "Yeah, we like you, we like your presence on social media, but it's not what we are looking for." So, of course, there's still the music in front, and then the social media comes, but it's always a good door opener, maybe. So they see you and say, "Okay, let's have a look at him, so we can
Yeah,
see.
I would agree. I think, especially as a newcomer, for example, TikTok is a great way to start off and to really work on it, do songs, produce music, and then try to create like even a little hype on TikTok, because you will see that people like it. But I also think that social media is very important, but in the end it's still music, because there are a lot of influencers that have a huge reach, but they cannot really monetize their community, and it don't really converts to Spotify, for example. They are big influencers, but they don't have any streams. So in the end, I think it's yeah, every part is super important. That's what I said. This is why you always feel like, okay, if I spend time on this part, I don't have time for that part. So you cannot say social media is the biggest part. I still think it's music.
Yeah, we see this also with the big festivals like Tomorrowland or Perukaville. They have, of course, a big, huge lineup. But if you're really looking into the details, of course, they also have newcomers on the lineup, but they really into music, because at the end, on the stage, there is music. Of course, you have to be, like you said, a type for kind of music or a show. But how is it with you? Because you said you of course have a lot of shows, but you don't have high numbers on social media, but you have shows. So maybe you can explain a little bit more how that is.
So the thing is, what you said, so like with the big festivals like Tomorrowland and stuff, so that applies, in my opinion, just for like big promoters, big shows, because I'm a promoter as well since a couple of years, and when I book an artist, so it's the case, I have to check, unfortunately, even though I hate it, I have to check the social media numbers. So when I see like I see an artist I would love to book, because I really love the music or whatsoever, or I know he's a great DJ, but I see like, okay, it's, he maybe does or she does have only 1,000 followers on Instagram. I know, unfortunately, the impact for my event is much less than if I would book an artist with much more numbers on social medias. So that's all. Also, you have to spread that a little bit. So. For especially for small promoters, and in my case as an artist, so I'm so my numbers on social media are not really big, but I think fortunately I'm able to have always good connections with people in person, so I'm strong with that, so I'm good with promoters, I'm easygoing with people in general, and so I think that's one of the things which helps me to get still my shows and to sustain myself at the end. And also, I mean, at least I hear about it. I don't want to say that about myself, but people still appreciate that the performance at the end for them is important, like for the guests and everything. So, and of course, like at the end, the feedback still goes back to the promoter or like maybe even label or whatsoever, which helps still. But makes, yeah, as I mentioned before, it makes it more difficult.
ISEK, how is it with you? Because you don't release that many songs already. You are working on it, but and I know you do a lot of things by yourself. Also book your shows and stuff like this. So yeah, how are your arguments when you're in contact with bookers or clubs, festivals? Because you can't say, hey, listen to my music, because there's not that much out already.
Yeah, of course. Basically, that's my biggest problem at the moment. I'm very young in the business. I'm very unexperienced in the business. Of course, I'm about to change this. I mean, yesterday was my release day. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
So after 3 long years, I've released my very first own track again. And now there's a lot more coming, so that the whole game can get better. As you said, this is the whole game. It's not like only social media or just music or just shows or something like that. You have to be the whole show. You have to be everything to be good, to grow, and to get everywhere. But to come back to your question, of course, if I'm in contact with a promoter or something like that, my social media is one of my biggest arguments, because I have really a good reach, especially in Germany and around Germany, so like DACH or something like that. So there are always people coming for me because they know me from social media, they know me from my videos or pictures or something like that. So the club or the festival is filled of my community, and that's my biggest argument. But of course I have to work very hard on the part that I have to be able to put out more music, that the people from my social media, from my community come, and people who just know my music. Maybe they don't know my social media at all, but they like my music from Spotify, YouTube, Deezer, whatever. They know, oh, ISEK is there. Nice. I want to see him. I want to know who he is. So at the moment, my biggest argument is, of course, social media and maybe my personality. But it has to change. It definitely has to change.
Are clubs or bookers asking, like, what can we expect from your show? Because
no, I can gladly no, because my social media is how can I say, it's, you see what I'm doing. So I'm in my genre is big room techno, big room or main stage music. So like Tomorrowland, Perukaville or something like that. And on my social media, I just show videos and especially videos with these sounds. So if they check my social media and see, okay, I hear this is a whole game. So I know if I book him, there is big room techno and main stage music coming for me. So if there is a rave party or maybe a festival party in a club or even a festival, they know if they book me, this is the music they can expect. So this is the, I think, most important part of this. You can't follow any trends. You have to do it in your way. You have to make sure people, when they try to book you, know what they can expect. Because if they are in contact with you and don't know it, you have to explain, and this is always a little shamey way.
Yeah, but I think it's different with you because, of course, the booker and the festival know, these are the guys from the radio, so they expect a specific set because they know you from the radio. Is it maybe then difficult because most of the people know you from radio, that you then on a festival really have to play the radio sound, and then, of course, that is shown on social media, so the people only know your radio side, but I know you're also working on good club tracks. You're in a studio for a long time, as you said, though. Is it then, again, really you always on the stage, or is there something missing? But yeah, maybe you can explain that a little bit more.
We always have club versions or festival versions of the song we have in the radio, so it's still the song. The people still get the music we put out for the radio, but in our way of a festival track. So yeah,
and nobody wants to hear radio music played 2 minutes 30 on the festival. And I think it was a way to explain it. But since we are doing this for 10 years now, the people know what kind of music we produce. They know what kind of music we play on the festivals. And I think that's also a selling point of ours, because we get very good feedbacks for our shows, and they are always full of energy, and the people know a lot of our songs. So it's always a good combination of that.
You can still sing along.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
really
good.
important.
Because,
Really important.
A difficult question, but would you shut down your Instagram for 2 weeks? I will start with you.
Whoa, that's a good one.
Because as you all said, it's all about music, and we know how important social media is, but at the end, when it's really all about music, also for the festivals and clubs and bookers and labels, then...
So for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say yes, because to take an example, last year, in the end of the last year, I was struggling a little bit with my mental health, and social media was a part of it. And I decided myself to quit the social media game for 1 month, because I noticed it's like I have to. So and it helped me a lot. I noticed that I wasn't that people haven't seen anything from my side, but still, even 1 month, 4 weeks was still a period of time I could manage to catch up at some point. So in this case, I would say definitely yes, for 2 weeks, yes.
Yeah, I asked this because I wanted to hear this, because I see a lot of DJs now that are really put 2 weeks or 3 weeks and shutting down the smartphone or don't use social media, because they all see in Corona and the pandemic, it was like you was at home with your family, you didn't play shows, and you really focus on yourself. And then they have, last year, again, 100 shows or 15, 200, whatever. And I think because we're speaking about social media changed the industry, it's changed, of course, also the people who were working with social media. And that's why I think it's really important to say, okay, it should be possible to to don't do social media for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And what we see with a lot of DJs, also for example Felix Jen, he also did it. That at the end people will listen to the music when you're back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at the end, so for me was important. So it wasn't an easy decision for me, but at the end was for me was the most important for me. Like, okay, to take care of myself. So that was the most important. And even though people wouldn't listen to my music or wouldn't come to my shows anymore after a couple of weeks or whatever, of course it would hurt some way. But then I would say it didn't meant to be. So then, so the mental health or like the health, my health is much more important than everything else. So
Agree, but I think ISEK, for you it wasn't that easy to do this, right?
Holy, of course it's me. Yeah, to be honest, at this point of my very young career, I would say no. I would say I don't have the possibility to shut down my social media right now for 2 weeks, because as I just said, at my point, everything is about social media because I don't have that much music. So at the moment, the people don't know what to expect when they just listen to my music. I mean, I have 3 tracks on Spotify at the moment, and there's at the moment just 1 track I would say this is my sound right now. So there are 3 tracks, and just 1 is my sound. So my musical identity isn't set at the moment. So nobody knows. When I book ISEK, this is what I get if I just know his music. Maybe in 2 or maybe 3 years, when there is a lot of music from me outside and it happened what I want to happen, that there are people just coming for me, don't know my social media, just knowing my music, then I would say I agree with you. I would shut down my social media right now to be able to hold my mental health, to be able to hold my health, because this is everything. If I'm not healthy, if I'm not good, there is no way for me to go on and to produce music or anything.
But can I ask you something about that?
Of course, please.
So don't you think when you would explain your followers, maybe like, listen guys, I want to quit the social media game for the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks, that that you have such a strong connection to your followers that they maybe would understand and say to you like, okay, yeah, take your time or whatever, we will be still there when you're back?
Of course, some people will understand, but some people don't, because let's be honest, I have a really big reach. When I'm making a story and tell my people, hey guys, I'm so sorry, but I have to take a 2-week break because I don't feel so good. There's just, let's say, half of my community who sees it. So there's another half asking, where's ISEK and what is with ISEK? They contact me and I'm not even responding. So they may be gonna leave me because there are so many other good DJs and so many other good artists. So on the one hand, I would say, yeah, if I tell my people, hey, I need to take this break, there will be a lot of understanding. But on the other hand, there won't be any understanding at all. And that's the biggest problem, because I've worked so many years to get this big community around me to be able to maybe get the next step up in my career. And to do this break right now, I think it would be a big problem for me. As I said, maybe in 2 or 3 years, if there is a musical identity and all the stuff around myself, I think, yeah, it would be no problem and it would be easy to make a break, to hold my health. But right now, I don't think so.
How about you guys? Because you have music out and you're on the
2
radio.
weeks, no problem.
2 weeks, no problem at all.
So there's nothing we are proud of, but like when we are producing and really are in the tunnel of songwriting and producing, and it's January, nothing much is happening. It happens that 2 weeks is nothing happening on our social media, so
Right.
it's not that hard for us to shut down social media for 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe the last question. What are your wishes for the whole social media game? Of course, you can wish everything. I wish to be rich or whatever, or to healthy my whole life. You can't control it. But if you had one wish for social media or for all the people using it, what would it be?
For me, I think it's very hard. I'm struggling a lot with social media and algorithms cutting the reach, because like if you have a community and you don't get to them, that's really hard. And then it's no fun at all, because you put your work in it, you post a reel, you I don't know, and then you don't reach your audience, and this is no fun at all.
I mean, at the moment, everybody of us is talking about reels. Instagram, especially Instagram, was always about pictures. So right now, I mean, every one of us is producing reels because there is no reach at all for any picture. So this is the part. You have to go with the trends again.
Yeah, I like talks like this where we match, because I think we all agree it's important, but it also have negative vibes, and we try to invite someone from Instagram, from TikTok. It's really difficult to speak with guys like this because they say, yeah, you have to do content and then you will grow. But at the end, we all know it's not that easy. So yeah, maybe.
So
there's no solution.
what I would like to see more on social media in general is more like real content, like not only the pretentious content or just show the best life, also like to show like maybe as a DJ or artist like, yeah, shit, I missed my flight, or the promoter didn't pay me, or stuff like that, so that everyone sees like, okay, no, just because I'm an artist and I have maybe high numbers on social media doesn't mean I'm a better person than anyone else. And that's something I think many people misunderstood that, unfortunately, and see only like the good things and think like, okay, he's a superstar, or she's a superstar, or whatsoever. And I think it would be helpful if people in general, obviously not only artists, would share more of the real and not necessarily personal life, but real life. So not only the good stuff, so also like, yeah, some bad shit.
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot for your time, for all your insights. Are there any questions?
Not that much.
Because you all love or you all hate social media? There are questions.
Have you guys gotten much into automation using any of the AI tools? I mean, I understand my ex has 8.5 million followers on Instagram, and it's just like mentally destroyed her. Yeah. But trying to figure out ways to get into more automation stuff, there's a lot of things coming out, not only ChatGPT, but other tools. Are you guys looking into that yet? Is that on your radar?
To be fair, like from my personal perspective, not really. I mean, the only time I used ChatGPT was like to figure out what's the most trending hashtags recently from melodic techno DJs.
But that works.
Yeah, it worked. Like, yeah.
Okay. Well, ChatGPT right now is not connected to, unless you're using the new plugin, it's not connected to the internet. It's only had data as of like September 2021 up until very recently. So update that thought and you could be okay. Is that there?
Good to know. Thank you.
So I see you use it a lot.
I mean, I'm a developer and I run I have companies that I run, and AI is just changing everything.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah. So things like AutoGPT and AI agents, those are the things that you'll want to start digging into. Within the next 3 to 6 months, you'll be able to just dump a pile of photos and video and songs, whatever the hell it is that you want. These things are going to be able to generate, one agent will be able to do the research, like what top tags, one agent's going to be able to collectively put everything together, one agent's going to be can write the content for it, and then one agent will overlook it all to make sure it's not garbage.
Can we meet at the bar after this?
Yeah. Or maybe can we change? You should talk. It's amazing. First of all, thank you very much, because I'm not using AI at all at the moment, because
for mental health, you got to do it. I mean, as an artist, I mean, my ex totally,
she's broke.
Yeah,
She's done.
It's tough, right?
All right. Yeah, it's really tough. It's a very hard game, to be honest. And you have to think about so many things. There's so much pressure in the back of you because you have to perform. You have to be good. You have to be the best because there are so many others. So yeah, maybe AI is a good tool to use. I think so, but honestly, at the moment, I don't have the time to figure out how AI works. So that's my biggest problem. Of course, there are so many videos at the moment. Everybody's telling us use AI, use AI, use AI, because this is the future, and I believe them. I think this is the future. But honestly, how much time did you use to figure out how AI works for you?
I'm 44 years old, so 44 years.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, technology always just changes. You got to stay on top of it. But the things that are going to make things easier for you to spend more time on the things that you want, pay close attention to. right? It is just,
Amazing.
It is just starting out, so it's not like you missed anything.
Okay.
But I think during the next 3 to 5 years, those that use it versus those that don't, it'll be both a good and a bad thing. You know, when the people who've been using it for 3 years look like superhumans, people who haven't might think negatively. There could be a negative outlet on, oh, well, they used AI. But it is what it is.
That's so cool.
And of course, in the music production as well. I mean, there are at the moment so many AI tools.
There are. So I specialize in a lot of that as well. And but they're not yet. I mean, the voices, obviously, right? So that was crazy.
Yeah.
Drake weekend release was just nuts, right? But you know, the production side, production value of, you know, making sure that your like dance music or electronic music, it sounds good throughout the whole dynamics. Like, that's really difficult still. I mean, it'll come.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too.
That's for sure.
Thanks for your input. Amazing.
Thank you very much. Really
I
good.
think there was another question, yeah?
Yes. My question is, which music-related content works best for growth?
Music-related content works best for what?
Growth.
For the growth. Oh, okay, yeah. You guys?
Good question. We don't know. No, I don't know. But we had some TikToks, for example, from the studio where we did like very short making ofs of a song, like showing the bass line, the drums we programmed, like the keys and then the vocals in, I don't know, 15 seconds. That worked very well on social media for us.
And build small stories around, like when we play a show, it's the more successful thing is not like the recap of the show, but the video where our content creator just hands me the Jägermeister Flasche, and I go to the audience and give them some Jägermeister, and this has more of a personal touch and
personality.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
And also what I noticed, I haven't tried it yet, but what I noticed recently is that when you have a specific knowledge, like for example in music production, DJing or whatsoever, if you do like short tutorials, like show your knowledge, share your knowledge, and recently I noticed that apparently works quite good as well.
In my eyes, there are always two ways. The first way is always knowledge transfer. So if you know something and you can show to the people who want to know it will see it. So of course, but the second part is entertaining. I think these are the two parts where you can get growth really fast. You have to be an entertainer, or you have to give knowledge that you achieved. So maybe I can talk for myself. On my social media, I'm not the best producer at the moment. I'm working on it, and I'm getting better and better and better, and every day maybe AI can be a tool for me as well. But especially, I think my biggest USP to reach this reach I got was the part of entertaining. I mean, I have my genre, so I'm in big room techno, and at the moment there is a big hype around techno and big room as well, so big room techno is coming good. I don't have that much own tracks I can show, but of course I'm searching for new music every day, and if I find a banger, I can just stay for 15 seconds in front of my camera, just let the drop play and make maybe a funny dance video and put this on social media. It's the easiest way. I mean, it takes me, let's say, 30 minutes. 30 minutes for a video that can maybe get 100,000, 200,000 or 300,000 clicks just because I found a good banger, and all the guys, they like big room techno as well, will see it. So as you have knowledge, put it out in a short video, because I think the most people are only looking for 5 seconds, and then they decide, do I like it or not? So make sure that you put out the knowledge in the first 3 seconds, or be just entertaining. Find your way in the music and show the people outside what is your type of music, and do some funny shit or maybe just some cool shit, and trust me, you will get reach pretty fast.
But I think the most important still is be yourself. That's, in my opinion, the
Of
most
course.
important. Be yourself, be comfortable with yourself, with the content you're producing, and I think at some point, maybe that will be the key to grow on social media.
Be patient.
Yeah, thanks guys once again. Thanks for all the listeners. Have a nice day. Enjoy Berlin Dance Music Event for the next 2 days, and yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.